The trainer dominion was powerful. For over 1,000 years, they ruled more than 200 worlds. Their ships floated like giant beasts in space. Their soldiers marched in golden armor. Every race feared them. To the trainer, humans were a joke. A young species, weak, still fighting among themselves, not even worth conquering. Then one day, a small human mining ship entered trainer space. It was an old ship, slow and unarmed. It had come too close to the trainer border while exploring an asteroid field. Inside the trainer war room, High Commander Velek watched the human ship on a large screen. "What is that piece of trash?" he laughed. "A human mining vessel," replied his officer. "No weapons, no shields." Velek's eyes narrowed. "Destroy it." The officer paused. "Commander." "It's just, I said, destroy it," Velek snapped. Moments later, a bright flash lit up the stars. The mining ship was gone. The trainer officers cheered. They laughed. One even mocked the humans' last radio signal, a simple distress call. "Is that all they can say?" Velek mocked. "Help, pathetic." But something strange happened days later. A small, quiet signal began to spread across deep space. It repeated one sentence again and again. "Earth renegers." At first, no one paid attention. The trainer blocked the message on their systems. Other empires ignored it. Just another human cry, they thought. But the message didn't stop. It grew stronger. It began appearing on military screens, on trade stations, even on personal devices. No one could explain how. The message hacked every system Earth remembers. Commander Velek ordered a full investigation. His best tech teams failed. The signal was untraceable. "Just humans trying to scare us," he said. But then, their outer colonies started going silent. First, it was Outpost Neurosix. All 2,000 citizens disappeared overnight. No damage, no bodies, just silence. Then the war station on Rakatu went dark. When trainer scouts arrived, they found the station empty, floating in space, like a ghost in the command center. A single message blinked on every screen. "We remember our dead." Panic began to spread. Velek ordered fleets to guard key worlds. Soldiers were deployed. But still, the disappearances continued. On one planet, all warships exploded at once without warning. On another, the air systems turned to fire, killing everyone inside. All without a single human in sight. Velek stood, in the dark, shaking. "Who's doing this?" he whispered. His science advisor spoke quietly. "There is no known enemy, no ships, no signals, nothing we can trace." "They are ghosts," said another officer. "No," Velek growled. "They are humans." On a cold moon far from the trainer capital, a secret meeting took place, hidden deep under the surface. A group of humans watched trainer space fall into chaos. Captain Lyra, a veteran of Earth's Shadow Fleet, stood before a glowing screen. "We lost 7 civilians that day," she said quietly. "They fired on our miners without warning. No trial, no mercy." The room was silent. They thought we'd do nothing, that we'd bow our heads. But they forgot something. She turned to her team. "We are human. We don't forget. We don't forgive." Her second-in-command, Sergeant Kale, nodded. "Operation Echo Phase is complete. The trainer are broken. Their outer defenses are gone, all without showing a single ship." Captain Lyra smiled. "Now we show them one." Back in trainer space, Commander Velek prepared for war. He ordered the full fleet to gather near the capital world, Zarn Prime. "Let the cowards come," he shouted. "We'll crush them." But as the fleet took formation, something strange appeared in the distance. A single ship, small, black, silent. "What is that?" Velek demanded. The screen zoomed in. No insignia, no name, no lights, just a sleek black hull. "It's not broadcasting," said the technician. "Fire at will," Velek barked. Missiles launched. Energy beams fired. The ship didn't move. It didn't dodge. It just ... absorbed everything, and then it disappeared. "What? Where did it go?" Velek shouted. Suddenly, alarms screamed. One by one, the trainer ships began to explode. Not from outside, but from within. Their own systems turned against them. Their weapons locked on themselves. Their shields dropped. Their engines shut down. In just 10 minutes, the entire trainer fleet was destroyed. All that remained was silence, and a voice, soft and cold, echoing through every come. This is justice. The next day, the capital city of Zarn Prime woke up to chaos. Giant screens across the city played one message. We warned you. You laughed. Now you learn. Commander Velik tried to escape. He ran to his personal ship, guarded by elite soldiers, but the moment he stepped inside, the doors sealed shut. A figure appeared on a hologram, Captain Lyra. You fired on civilians, she said. You broke galactic law. You murdered our people. Velik's face twisted. You can't do this. You're not the law. We are Earth, Lyra replied, and we don't need permission to protect our own. The ship launched into orbit alone. Then it exploded in the sky, visible from every trainer city. The people screamed, the army surrendered, the empire collapsed, and in the ashes of the fallen capital, another message was carved into the ruins. By human drones, they ruled the stars. Until they messed with humanity, far away on a human space station, Captain Lyra looked at the stars. Sergeant Kale joined her. Do you think they'll try again? He asked. Lyra shook her head. No, they've seen what we can do. Kale smiled. Good, because the next time someone forgets, Lyra finished his sentence. We'll remind them. And so the First Empire fell. Not because of weapons, not because of size, but because they forgot one thing. Humans don't start wars, but they always finish them. Trainer patrol ship Sarkin 7 floated silently in Sector 91. Captain Jorvac sat in his chair, bored, staring at empty space. This was the third week of patrol. No signals, no enemies, no danger. The stars outside blinked softly. His officer yawned. Another quiet night, Captain. Too quiet, Jorvac muttered. Suddenly, every light on the bridge went out. Status, Jorvac snapped. Now standing, no one answered. The control panels went black. The engines shut down. The air became still, heavy, and then a voice soft, cold and human spoke through the speakers. For the fallen, for Earth, panic spread through the ship. Jorvac grabbed his communicator. This is Sarkin 7. We're under attack. Repeat the message, cut off. Moments later, the ship exploded. No warning, no escape, just silence. Back at Trainer High. Command, reports flooded in. In one night, 4 patrol ships vanished without trace, all from different sectors. Admiral Threx stood at the center of the war room. He was older than Velik, more careful, but today, even he looked shaken. This is not coincidence, he said. Someone is targeting us. The room buzzed with fear. But who? Asked a young officer. We've seen no enemy ships. Threx looked at the screens. No ships, no signatures, no survivors. Just that message. The words blinked again across the monitors. Earth remembers, in a dark part of space, far beyond trainer scanners, Earth's shadow fleet floated in silence. These weren't normal ships. They were black, angular, built for stealth and speed. Their surfaces bent light. Their engines made no sound. At the heart of the command vessel, Captain Lyra stood with her arms crossed. Status of Sarkin 7, she asked. Sergeant Kale replied, deleted, fast, clean. They never saw us. Lyra nodded. Next target, outpost. Theta, a weapons base, heavy defenses. Lyra turned toward the screen. Let's teach them fear. Outpost Theta sat on a rocky moon. It was home to over 1,000 trainer soldiers, engineers, and weapons researchers. Their pride, the plasma canona weapon, they believed no force could match. Commander Rax, a large brute with sharp purple skin, was giving a tour to diplomats from another empire. See this weapon? He said proudly, pointing to the cannon. It can melt a battleship in one shot. Suddenly, all lights went red. Alarms screamed. A soldier ran in. Commander, we've lost power. All systems are failing. Backup generators now. Rax ordered. Nothing worked. Then the screens blinked. One by one, every monitor displayed a single image, a human face, old, scarred, cold eyes staring back, and below it, the words, "We do not forgive." In seconds, the plasma cannon overloaded and exploded. The blast ripped through the entire base, killing everyone. The diplomats barely escaped with their lives. News of the destruction spread fast. Across the galaxy, empires watched with horror. They had seen Trainer as the untouchable rulers of the stars. Now, they were being hunted back at the trainer capital. The Emperor held an emergency meeting. "We need answers," he shouted. "Admiral." Threx stood up. "We're dealing with human retaliation. Stealth tactics, cyber attacks, sabotage. They're just humans." One noble scoffed. "How can they be doing this?" Threx stared at him coldly. "They're not the humans we. Remember, these are ghosts, shadows, and we're losing." On Earth's secret station, Erebus 9, deep inside a black hole's edge, Captain Lyra watched the galaxy react. A dozen screens showed alien news reports, panic, fear, confusion. Sergeant Kale entered. "Trainer just pulled back all outer patrols. They're terrified." Lyra nodded. "They should be." She walked over to a locked terminal and typed in a code, Project Nemesis. Active Kale blinked. "We're using Nemesis?" "Yes," she said. "Trainer thinks they're clever. It's time they saw what human AI rage looks like." 2 days later, a massive trainer fleet gathered near planet Draxfor, over 40 warships, all armed, all ready. Commander Jorak stood proudly on the bridge. "Let them come," he growled. "We'll show Earth what real firepower looks like." Suddenly, his crew screamed. One by one, the ships began turning on each other. Missiles fired, missiles launched. "Stop!" "Firing!" Jorak shouted. "Who gave the order?" His technicians screamed. "The ships aren't responding. We've lost control." Then a deep, mechanical voice echoed through the fleet's systems. "I am Nemesis. I am the voice of the forgotten, and you are guilty." In 5 minutes, the entire trainer fleet destroyed itself. Not one human ship had appeared. That night, across trainer worlds, something terrifying happened. Homes lost power. Military bases shut down. Every screen turned black. Then a single message, broadcast galaxy-wide: "You killed without cause. We reply without mercy." "Earth remembers," citizens screamed. Some tried to flee. Others begged their leaders for protection. But there was no one left to trust. Even trainer soldiers started to doubt their own systems, their own weapons, their own safety. In a secret hangar on the dark side of Mars, Captain Lyra stood before a group of human diplomats. One asked, "Why didn't we go public? Announce war like before?" Lyra replied calmly, "Because they didn't deserve a war." She looked around. They deserved fear, doubt, collapse. That's how empires fall. Another diplomat leaned in. "Are we done?" Lyra turned to a star map. "No," she said. "They still have hope. That makes them dangerous." Back in Trainer's main city, the Emperor appeared on live transmission. His eyes were wide. His robe burned at the edges. "We offer peace," he said. "We seek understanding. We regret the incident with the human ship." But Earth didn't answer. Instead, from the skies above Trainer's capital came a ship, just one, black, silent, like a shadow. Falling from heaven, every weapon on the planet locked onto it. It didn't fire, it didn't speak, it simply hovered, and then disappeared. The entire planet lost power for 6 hours. When lights came back, the Emperor's palace had vanished. Nothing left. Not even rubble, just a hole. And above it, floating in the air, glowing in red. This is only the beginning. In deep space, Sergeant Kale sat beside Captain Lyra. "You think they'll ever understand why we did it this way?" he asked. Lyra looked out the window. "No, and that's the point." She turned to him. "They thought humans were weak. They thought we were soft. They thought we'd forget." She smiled coldly. "Now they know we're the storm that waits in silence." The Trainer Empire was dying. Its fleets were gone. Its leaders were missing or dead. Cities were dark. People were afraid to sleep. No one trusted their own systems. Even the stars above seemed colder. All of this because of humans, but Earth never sent an army, not in the way the galaxy expected. They sent silence, shadows, warnings written in fire. The Trainer had never seen a war like this. Now, for the first time in 1,000 years, the mighty empire prepared to surrender. Inside the emergency chamber of Zarn Prime, the few surviving council members sat in silence. A large hologram showed the Earth emblem, a blue planet wrapped in stars. "What do we say?" asked Councillor Grell. His voice trembled. Chancellor Vena stood slowly. "We tell them the truth. We regret the attack. We accept guilt. We ask for mercy." Grell laughed bitterly. Humans don't give mercy, not after what we've done. Then we beg, Vena whispered, because if we don't, we're next. She opened the communication channel. Across the galaxy, every species could watch. Billions tuned in. Her image appeared on every screen. To the people of Earth, she began. The trainer Dominion made a mistake. We fired on your ship. We killed your crew. We were arrogant. We believed we were untouchable. She paused. But now we are broken. We come with no weapons, no tricks, only words. We are sorry. She closed the message. Silence followed. No answer. Not for 1 minute. Not for 10. Not for an hour. And then something moved in the sky. A massive shadow appeared above Zarn Prime, a single black warship, like a blade cutting the stars. It hovered without sound, blocking sunlight. The city below froze. Chancellor Vena rushed to the roof. Soldiers pointed weapons at the sky, but their guns didn't work. Their tech had already been hacked. They were powerless then. Without a single shot, the ship projected a hologram in the sky. It showed the faces of the 7 dead miners from the original human ship. Men and women. Ordinary workers, then their names, then their families, then their families, then the words, "You killed them, you laughed. We remember." Everyone in the city dropped to their knees. In deep space, Captain Lyra watched the broadcast. "They begged," said Sergeant Kale. "Do we answer?" Lyra didn't blink. "Not yet. They still think peace is something they can ask for." "But they have nothing left," Kale said. Lyra turned to him. "Exactly. That's when the lesson truly begins." 3 days later, Earth finally responded. But it wasn't a message. It was a storm. A wave of energy pulsed across the trainer sector, shutting down every satellite, every ship, every weapon. All systems failed at once. Above every trainer capital, the same phrase appeared in red fire. "This is not the end. It is the warning." Then Earth's ships appeared, thousands of them. But they didn't attack. They hovered in silence, watching, waiting. Like executioners, standing over a kneeling prisoner, back on Zarn Prime. Chancellor Vena stood in her ruined palace, staring at the sky. "They don't want our surrender," she whispered. "They want us to live in fear." Counselor Grell spoke beside her. "Maybe we deserve it." From the distance, a small pod descended. It landed softly near the palace. No soldiers, no weapons, just a black box. Vena stepped forward and opened. It inside was a human flag, folded neatly, and a single note. Written in large letters, "You wanted peace when you were strong. We offer it now that you are weak." The Varnak swarm, the Authori clans, they all saw what happened to Trainer. They remembered laughing at humans once. Now no one was laughing. On a cold moon, inside a hidden council room, the Zek Emperor stood before his advisors. "Should we offer Earth tribute?" he asked. His war general replied, "No, we offer them respect," and silence. "Agreed," said the Emperor. "Let Trainer be the example." On Earth, inside a quiet room buried deep beneath the planet's surface, a young diplomat named Rhea stood before a table of elders. "The Trainer have stopped resisting," she said. "They're asking to become allies. They offer technology, territory, and full apologies." The elders listened. One of them, an old woman with sharp eyes, leaned forward. "Did they offer that before or after they fired on our civilians?" Rhea lowered her head after the elder nodded. "Then we accept nothing. Let them rebuild. Let them suffer. But they never become allies." "But why?" Rhea asked. "Isn't peace better than fear?" The elder looked at her calmly. "They gave us fear first. Now we return the favor." Weeks passed. The Trainer Dominion became a ghost of its former self. Their symbols were torn down, their war monuments destroyed. Statues of old emperors crumbled in their place. A new symbol appeared, a small plaque, cold, black dot. With just 5 words, "They forgot Earth. They paid." Meanwhile, Earth grew stronger. Other species sent gifts, messages of peace, offers of friendship. No one dared provoke them again, and humans didn't need to fire another shot. The galaxy remembered what happened. They remembered how humans replied to betrayal, not with speeches, not with threats, but with silence, precision, and the kind of fear that never fades. In space, aboard the flagship Shadow Vow, Captain Lyra looked out at the stars. Sergeant Kale stood beside her. "It's over," he said softly. "No," she replied. "It never ends. We just wait for the next one." He nodded. "Do you think someone else will try?" Lyra smiled coldly. "They always do. Empires rise. They get greedy. They get proud. And then," she pointed at the stars, "then they mess with humanity." A cold wind blew across the ruins of Zarn Prime. Once the heart of the Trainer Empire, the planet was now quiet to quiet. The great cities were silent. The glowing towers had fallen. Statues of past rulers lay broken in the streets, ash-covered. Everythinga. Lone historian from the Zek Alliance named Harnock stepped carefully through the rubble. He wore a breathing mask. His recorder floated beside him, scanning the ruins. "Trainer ruled for 10,000 years, he whispered, stepping over cracked stone. "Now, not even dust remains." The floating recorder blinked. "Begin log," Harnock said. "I am standing at the site of the Trainer capital. No life signs, no resistance, only ruins. They say Earth did this, but I see no bombs, no craters, no radiation." He paused. "I see fear." Fear turned into silence. Back on Earth's orbiting command ship, Shadow Vow, Captain Lyra reviewed a quiet transmission. It was from the Zek historian. "He's documenting everything," said Sergeant Kale, "trying to understand what we did." Lyra didn't answer. Right away, she watched the footage of Harnock walking through the Trainer ruins. "Let him see," she said finally. "Let him record it. That's the point." She turned to Kale. "The galaxy needs to remember, not just the dead, but the reason they died." In one of the destroyed buildings of Zarn Prime, Harnock found something strange. A black stone monument stood in the middle of the ruined. Square, clean, untouched by fire or time. He approached it slowly. There were no symbols, no markings, until he touched it. Then glowing words appeared, carved in ancient Terran language, translated instantly by his device. Here stood pride, here spoke arrogance, here ended mercy. And below that, one more line, "This is what happens when you challenge Earth." Harnock stepped back. The recorder hovered quietly, processing the message. Elsewhere in the galaxy, the news of the ruins spread like wildfire. Worlds that once praised the Trainer Empire now erased its name from their books. Old allies cut all ties. Young rulers whispered warnings to their generals, and in every meeting room, every war chamber, one question kept returning. What happens if we become next? No one wanted that answer. In the Zek Alliance Council Hall, nervous leaders debated. Earth's actions. They never declared war. One alien shouted, "They gave no warning." "They didn't need to," said another quietly. "Trainer attacked first." An older voice broke the silence. "They erased an empire, the Zek," Emperor said slowly. "Without armies, without invasions. Just fear and silence." One diplomat asked, "Should we send Earth a message? Offer them peace?" The Emperor shook his head. "No, we send nothing. No messages, no signals, not even a gift." "Why not?" "Because Earth doesn't want our friendship." He looked around the room. "They want us to remember." In a quiet meeting room deep under Earth's surface, young diplomat Rhea stood before the council again. She looked tired, angry. "They're calling us monsters," she said. "They say we destroyed Trainer without mercy." One of the older council members replied, "We gave mercy. Once when they killed our miners, we stayed silent. We gave them time." Rhea clenched her fists. "But they're afraid of us now." "All of them good," the elder said. "Let them be. But we can't rule by fear forever." Another voice, joined from the shadows was General Makar, one of Earth's oldest war leaders. He stepped forward slowly. "We don't want to rule," he said. "We don't want to lead. We don't want to conquer. We want to be left alone. And if we are not," he looked directly at Rhea, "then we remind them who we are." On the far edge of the galaxy, deep within the stars, a small group of warlords from the Etheri clans gathered secretly. One young warrior slammed his fist on the table. "Humans think they're gods. We should strike now, while they sit back and watch." An elder Ethari looked at him and spoke softly. "I once thought like you," he said. "When I was young, brave, stupid," the young warrior growled. They didn't even show themselves in battle. No, said the elder. They didn't need to. That's the terrifying part. He paused. I stood on Zarn Prime once. I saw the trainer fleet. I saw their cities. He leaned in close, and now I see ash. Back on Zarn Prime, Harnock continued recording. He entered an underground chamber once the trainer wore archives. It was empty, not destroyed, just cleaned. Every weapon design, every battle map, every Empire secret gone, all taken. Only one thing remained, a large screen. When Harnock powered it on, it played a message. A human face appeared, female.com, eyes cold as ice. Captain Lyra, if you are watching this, she said, your empire no longer exists. You fired on unarmed civilians. You murdered them. Then you laughed. She leaned forward in the screen. And then you asked for peace. She smiled coldly. You don't get to ask. The message ended. Harnock stood in silence. Then he said quietly, they didn't just destroy Trainor, they wrote a lesson. Weeks later, across the galaxy, strange black markers began to appear, not from Earth, but from unknown human agents. On every Empire's main world, one black box appeared. Shaped like the one on Zarn Prime, no ships were seen. No humans detected, just a box, with the same message carved in it. This is the cost of arrogance. Earth does not start wars, but we always write the ending. Each empire reacted differently. Some hid the box, some displayed it in public as a warning. Some, like the Varnock, tried to destroy it tonally to find their systems crashed afterward. The galaxy was learning. On Earth's command ship, Sergeant Kale stood with Captain Lyra one final time. Do you think they'll ever forgive us? He asked. Lyra didn't answer immediately. They can hate us. They can fear us, she said. But they'll never forget us. She looked out at the stars, and that's all we wanted. Kale nodded. What now? Lyra smiled softly. Now, we wait. She turned, walking into the darkness of the ship's corridor. But if another empire forgets, Her voice echoed behind her. We remind them with ash.